Good morning, everyone. I was reading the book of Obadiah this morning, and good morning to everyone. Another beautiful October autumn day of the great fall season. And in the book of Obadiah, it's a short book. It would take you probably less than 10 minutes. If you're a slow reader, maybe 5 minutes, if that. If you're faster, probably 3 minutes. But it's packed full of a prophetic time of when Esau will reach the end of his rule, the children of Esau, and particularly the nation of Esau, the race of Esau. And it is clear about the reference to the strength of Esau and how powerful Esau is because of how many of its previous allies have come against it. And then two, the description of Esau doing in the children of Judah and Israel. But there's a poignant scripture in there, and it talks about how they should not, it refers to how you should not have watched your brother and participated in your brother Judah's demise. Now, I think this is probably the claim of where them folks who are quite possibly seem to be the synagogue of Satan may have been able to fool the world into them believing that they're everything but. The brother part of it, perhaps maybe, if you would consider, would be those that they call the hidden hand behind the elites of today's world, that Esau has the power to rule over, or had the power, because now the power is snatched from them. But they are referred to as the black nobility, and their power derives from the great Satan. These are the ones I suspect. These are the ones that have received the spirit of the great Satan, Lucifer, and even some of the demons have poured out their spirit upon these individuals who are black and who do actually are perhaps bloodline, true Israelites that have basically turned to the dark side. Remember that the rule of nations is a spiritual one, and so you have to draw upon the spirit of the world, and you have to have that blood in you in order to do so. And so if you I think I referred to some other tapes that I'll be putting on, but if you look at history, if you're willing to look at just the trueness of it, during Queen Elizabeth's time, she is actually a black queen that commissioned herself to be white, allegedly, in order to hide that she had invested into slavery, selling her own people or her own bloodline or her own kindred into slavery from Africa, and also investing in the slave trade in America. Because if you remember, Christopher Columbus discovered America in 1492. And then if you also remember, there was wars going on in Europe that Queen Elizabeth I was a part of. and so many of those wars she won. And so it would make sense that she would invest in that unholy new enterprise for Europe. So yeah, so when it, what jumped out at me, because sometimes it could just take just one little scripture. What jumped out at me is when it says you should never have sold your brother into slavery. You should never have looked upon him and basically celebrated the demise of the house of Israel, which they have, and which they have participated fully in and lend their credence to. So now, to connect it to what's going on right now, what's going on today is that because that spiritual power has been removed, they are now, for lack of a better term, on lockdown. They cannot access the power to rule the planet. So the great Satan and the demons have been removed from operating the devilry to their benefit. So that's why you see them, it seems like they're wanting to repeat history. They wanted to turn back the hands of time. They keep going over the same things, expecting different results, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different outcomes. And all the while, you can see them crashing out because it's not working like they want it to. And they're sending that spirit out to the masses of basically other white folk. And of course, that's triggering them and driving them to do strange things in the world. Know that it's not that their grip is getting tighter. Understand that the grip is actually not only loosening, but it's been removed. They don't have a grip on this planet anymore, and so this is why you can see that there are objects, and now they're starting to say that there are just more than what we can phantom, that are displaying intelligence. And I want you all to consider that is quite possibly part, if not half, of the Lord's great army that you see out there that's making its way. It's already in our solar system, and it's making its way to our planet. And it goes a long way to show why the powers that be are being so quiet about the matter. Why they are not saying anything. Still right now, NASA and other European or worldly organizations are still, I don't want to say European, but other nations are still not giving out their data. They're not releasing what they collected and what they've known since they spotted Three-Eye Atlas and all the other 7 comets, even though many of them came from the blind spot of the sun, which is a weakness for Satan and the demons, and also for the human element that served and serves these outer worldly entities or beings that have been condemned here to our planet. But there are a few, because the creator of the universe, if the truth is supposed to get out, which is the time for that, it's going to get out no matter what they do. So that we do have some those that have been giving that information. And actually the European Space Agency, the ESA, has actually broken ranks. Praise Yahweh. Has actually broken ranks and is given all the juice that they got. So we actually got to see this. We got to see one of the as I would term it, battleships. We really have been able to spy that, and That's cause for rejoicing for us, and cause for concern, and probably fear for those who have benefited the most. Although they have been told that they would, at some point, the rule would be at end. But if you're, I guess if you're arrogant and you are anointed by this supernatural being that hates humanity, hates the planet, hates everything that the Creator has ever made and has fulfilled in his or her mind and heart, then yeah, I mean, I guess you just press on until death. And so that's where we are right now. And as I said before, and I'll say it again, the true children of Israel, the Hebrew Israelites indeed, are those that are descendants of American slaves. The majority of us, the bulk of us, are right here in the United States. So no matter what happens, I'm saying that, and not of my own volition, but just from what has been revealed, is that all the crimes that that our ancestors committed, we have already paid for 10 times over. So we will not be suffering the fate of this country, because we have not been in control of this country. We do not make the decisions. We do not exercise its power. We exist here, and that's barely. I mean, we barely exist here. If we compare ourselves to American life, and as a people, the only people really who have earned the American life, we have been wholly, without fail, day in and day out, been unable to access that kind of life at all. And they mean that no matter what we do, no matter how much we tried to appease them, it did not work. You can't, I guess you can't make treaties and peace deals with Satan and his children. It's just not going to happen. And so here we are now in this moment in time where we can see the finishing of this world as it comes to an abrupt halt. And we can praise the Creator of the universe for coming to our aid, as so many of our brothers and sisters have wondered that with all the measures that we try to do, all the mechanisms that we try to employ to gain our freedom and to be able to live a human life, even an imperfect one, but a human life, has been rebuffed successfully and has kept us at the bottom of existence, barely hovering above your common animal. And truth be told, some animals have been treated far more humanely than what we have. And so we can rejoice that now there's the flipping of that book, the closing of it, and the book that has been opened many years ago. We're now starting to see the outwork and manifestation of that book take hold. It's going to be cataclysmic. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to be cataclysmic. It's going to be very, very horrific. But I don't feel guilty, and I would say descendant of American slaves, don't you feel guilty either? Because again, we tried to do what we could, and it just was to no avail. They don't want to know. They don't want to, But we can be assured, because our ancestors, all the way up until Generation X, and even I would say a few of the millennials, have cried out for justice, and we have been rebuffed by the elements that rule this world, who have proven that they hate us beyond recall because of our status and our ability to hewn and home the planet. So, but we look forward to better days. We have tried everything, and I think I want to get that across to some people. We have tried everything. It's not like we sat down on our hands and even given up. even now, we're trying what we can. We're trying with our hands and feet tied behind our backs. We are moving virtually blind, and all we have is what little spirituality that we are given by the creator of the universe. So, but everything's happening as it should. The people who are, I'm not gonna. I'll make another tape as far as what else. There's so much for me to say, um, and sometimes I just have to hone in on a point and then let it go. But keep your eye on the skies, because our deliverance draws nigh. It is not the only option; it's our very last one. And I just really want to get that across. It's our last option. We have no other options that are being given to us to succeed. Thank you.